All right. I know if you're anything like me, you have spent countless hours navigating, organizing, and preparing for life. And in these actions, you are cultivating the best outcome possible for everyone in your inner circle, which often means you've completely lost yourself. My name is Karissa Dean. I'm a certified life and business coach for female entrepreneurs and executives, which includes those CEOs of the house, mom. And if you're wondering today what it is to reconnect with the self, you're in the exact right spot. I, like you, have navigated being the provider for everyone. And I even did this early on in college, making sure that I was connecting the friend group and organizing the get togethers. And it wasn't until maybe even like 4 years ago when I really stopped and decided that I really needed clarity around who I was and what I was doing. And really starting to come back to who am I? And at my core, what is it that I love to do? What is it that I want to create? How do I want to exist in the world? And it was a really heavy duty unraveling because you get caught up taking care of other people, especially if you are a caregiver for, friends or family, or if you have children or a spouse. It's hard to silence the noise, right? And come back to the self and start to realign and re-identify with who you are, what you love, what's important to you, what makes you feel good. And if we go down this path and we lose ourselves, right? And we lose clarity of where we're going and what we're doing, what we're creating, who we are, we will start to feel disconnected from the self. And so truly it becomes this question of who am I and what's important to me, and reconnecting to my body, reconnecting to my intuition, reconnecting to my truth. And so what is it that you are ignoring? The pings, the twings. Here's a great example. I was coaching this client of mine, and she was talking all about how she used to do this thing. And I kept being like, what do you mean you used to? She was a mom. She had been divorced. She was dating somebody new. She had a great career, was super happy in her career, but she was feeling like disconnected. And so we started to work on like, what are the things that bring you joy? And in that conversation, we started to like navigate that, like, really, what brought her joy were a long laundry list of things that she wasn't actively doing or seeking. And this is kind of a very common theme when I'm working with my one-on-one clients. And one of the ways that is the easiest to turn back in and try to reconnect with your body, your mind, and your intuition is going and downloading the nervous system reset that I've recorded for you, and just slowing down for a second to check in with yourself. You can use this recording at any time for any question, any concern. And what it's going to do for you is help you slow down. And that's often like the number one issue that we run into here is we get so busy in like the day-to-day operations that we forget what we're living for, right? We forget what we're working our 9 to 5 for. We forget why we're running all our kids all over the world. We forget, why we fell in love with our partner. And in that forgetting, we also forget who we are, and we stop listening to our intuition. And so working with this client one-on-one, we just had to really unravel all the layers and get curious about what brought her joy, not what people, but what actually invigorated her intuition and allowed her authentic self to be ignited and allowed her the spaciousness to feel creative, to feel more organic in her existence versus I have to do all these things or I should be doing all these things. You see, when you are out of alignment with your intuition, with your body, with your mind, you will feel more exhausted and drained. And so it's really about taking time to reflect on what things make you feel alive. And then it's making the time and the space to do those. So I have 3 amazing journal prompts for you to just take a beat and get started on your journey. When in your life have you felt in most alignment with who you truly are? What were you doing? Who were you with? And how did it make you feel in your body? Okay, that's journal question number 1. And I think the thing to remember here, which is why my methodology, the ARC approach, is so phenomenal, is because it takes us back and looks at where we came from, and not with shame or guilt or any negative, emotion, but with open eyes, awareness, and clarity. We reflect and we just take time to be curious about what were the moments that made me feel alive. Okay, so start there. That's journal prompt number 1. And I love reflection, and I love making a really, strong point. Like, who were you with? What were you doing? And was it the person, the place, or the thing that made you feel X, Y, or Z in the body, that made you feel awesome? Okay. Because sometimes it's the people in our lives, sometimes it's the activity or the place. And so it's good to get curious about those as well. All right. So number 2, what messages or nudges? This is often like why people come to me, is because they feel like something's missing, right? And so their body, their mind, their physical, their mental or emotional well-being, there's like a ping, and they're like, I can't get curious about this on my own. I need support. And so where are you missing sensations? What are you ignoring? Are you tired every day? Are you feeling like there's never enough for you? Are you feeling lack? Does your shoulder hurt? Does your heart hurt? Get curious. What sensations they're talking to you? That's your intuition. It's time to start listening. All right. This is journal prompt number 3. If you silenced all outside opinions, everything on the outside, if everything was silenced and you only trusted your inner voice, what would you do next? If everything else was turned off, what would you do next? This is my favorite question. And I was reading a book earlier today, and it was talking about if you were not afraid of anything, like if fear did not exist, what would you do? What would you create? Who would you become? And I love that question too. And so I think it's time to take a bold step and trust yourself. All right. I hope I see you on the next video. If you like what you're hearing, make sure to share it with a friend, subscribe so you never miss a beat. And thank you so much for being here. And again, choosing you.